Okay, in week 9 we're going to go digital. The aim of this session is to use an illustration package to digitize your plan drawings for your game level layout. The software today is going to be Adobe Illustrator and Maya. I've set some objectives to try and take us through the main parts of getting the artwork into the computer using a scanner to create a digital recording of your 2D plan drawing. We're then going to import the drawing into the 2D vector art package, which will be Adobe Illustrator. We're going to make some alterations to that using the curve tool and the line tool inside the art package. We're then going to clean up the art package so that we only are left with the line art, and we're going to export the file as an appropriate file format so it can be used in a 3D package. Once we're in the package, we're going to set the unit size for the 3D scene to work in the game engine. We're going to import the vector artwork into the 3D scene, and we're going to scale the vector curves to be at the correct meter scale for the game engine. We're then going to attach the curves in the 3D scene to a layer, rename it so we can use it as a reference layer, and then we're going to save the scene. At the end of it, I'd like you all to have reflected in your journals on what the process was, but also how you found the tools to work and what the difference was between using the same curves in a 2D package and in a 3D package. So to get us started, we will begin with importing the line art into the package. So I'm going to be using the scanner. Okay, so this is probably the similar scanner to what we'll use at college. So I'm going to take a preview picture. Okay, so here's the preview picture. We can make some adjustments inside here, so we can adjust using the histogram, and this allows us to change the levels. This is very similar to Photoshop, so you can see that this is how the levels will be changed, and you can see that we can darken up the image. You see we're pulling that image through to make sure that we get the lines as we want to see them. This is the most important bit. We need to see these lines. So make sure that when you're doing your scan, you do any adjustments so you don't just end up with a very, very faint picture. Now I purposely used a pencil so that we could do that. Okay, and then we can hit the scan button. So we want to scan probably around 96 to 150 dpi. It doesn't really matter on the accuracy because we're going to use vectors when it comes to it. So I'm going to hit the scan button, and the computer will go off and it will scan using the network scanner. Obviously the lower the resolution, the quicker it will scan it. I'll then close this so obviously other people on the network can use that, and I'm going to bring it in to the Illustrator package. So I'm just going to minimize this, and I'm going to bring the artwork into the package. Okay, so I've got the JPEG image, and I'm going to actually open the image up inside Illustrator. This will give me a nice canvas to work on, the same size as the scene. Now it doesn't really matter which way around it is, but as you can see I have put a key on here, so you can see that there's 1 meter here, and I've also got a key 1 meter block as well on my drawing. It is quite important that you put one somewhere in your scene. It can be outside of the box if you wish. I've just put it inside the box for expediency. So we're inside the Adobe Illustrator package. I'm just going to just change my toolbar a little bit. I like to have the toolbar set on a side-by-side view. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the spacebar and the control button, which will allow me to zoom in and out by left mouse clicking and dragging. Now, as you can see, just with the spacebar I get to drag, very much like Maya, and with the spacebar and control and the left mouse button I get to dolly in and out of the scene. Remember, this is still inside Adobe Illustrator, but I'm going to try and use, where I can, I'm going to try and use the same terminology as I would use inside Maya. Okay, so you can see my drawing was pretty poor in some places, so where I can I'm going to try and alleviate that in there. Now, a couple of things that might help me as I go along inside the package, the art package Illustrator. I can turn on rulers. This can help me to use reference rulers. I can click and drag to create these reference lines, which could be quite useful. So you can see I get a line in there. I can also in here turn on smart guides. So the guides are on, so we've got smart guides on, and we can also have snaps on as well. So we could show the grid and snap to grid, etc. I'm going to leave snap to point on, and I'm going to allow smart guides on as well. So you see that when I hover over one of the guides it is highlighted. And I want to begin by using the pen tool, and we're going to use the pen tool just simply to click and release. So we're going to click and then we're going to hold shift, so this will snap it across, and then I'm going, as you can see, it's actually giving me my millimeters on this one. So I'm going to click down here and then down here and then across here, and then I'm going to go use the space bar while the pen's still active. Use the space bar, left mouse click, keep the space bar held. When you let go of the space bar, the pen tool will come back up, and holding the shift will lock it in line. Okay, so there and across to here and up. You see the smart guides have suddenly become active, so it knows where I want to go with that smart guide. There we go. Now this one's going to be a slight difference because it's off the 45-degree angle. Now when I drew this, I drew it thinking that that was the 45-degree angle, so I'm going to, so I've got shift selected, it's creating that 45-degree snap, so I'm going to put that onto that line there for now. And again, I'm going to hold down spacebar, I'm just going to walk all the way up to the top, and we're going to click this one in here, and again you can see this one, so I'm going to click this one to this point, which is actually going to create a funny shape for me there, but I can live with that. And across, and you see we have that one there, and then you can see that's now aligned itself to this one, so I want to say yep, we go up there and there, and then we're going to finish there and press enter. Okay, so now I can go into this, and what I can do is I can actually show you the curve in the layers. So there's the path, and I can actually hide the guide, and I can also hide the image, so we can see the path we've just created inside of the Illustrator package. Now, something to remember, when we're inside Maya, the world 0 is this part of your canvas. So when we set up a template inside, an image inside Illustrator, the canvas, this thing here, this is the important thing. Now at the moment I haven't got any curve line art on this. If I put black onto the curve, the outline, when I click off it, you should be able to see that outline. Okay, so I can turn the path back on for the guide underneath. I'm just going to put the keystone in. Now the keystone is going to be quite simple. I'm just going to use a rectangle tool, and I'm just going to hold down shift, and that will lock the tool to a square. So when I get to a whole one, as near as I can, one by one, I can let go of that, and we can just nudge that back into shape. So I've now got my 1x1 key as well. So we've now got a rectangle shape, you see there, and we've got a path shape as well. I'm going to this one, so I'm going to rename. So this one I'm going to put outline, and this one I'm going to put 1M key, just so I know that that's what those are. So to clean up this image, what we're going to do is we're going to delete this image that's underneath. So I'm just going to right mouse click, and left mouse click and drag and drop that onto the little waste bin. I'm also going to do the same for the guide. So we've just cleaned up that artwork. We've now got rid of the image that was underneath, and this is now ready for exporting out as an Illustrator file. Now, for it to go out properly and to go into Maya, it needs to go out as a version 8 Illustrator file. So that's what we'll do next.